A kid who went from being completely broke to a Netflix millionaire before she could even drive. A girl who didn't just land a role, she became the face of an entire generation. And someone who turned the world upside down. Literally. Yeah, I'm talking about Millie Bobby Brown. And if you think you know her story because you watched Stranger Things once, trust me, you don't. Because this isn't just some overnight success story, this is a full-blown rocket launch into stardom that makes most Hollywood careers look like child's play. So get ready, because we're about to dive into the insane, the unbelievable, and the downright shocking life of Millie Bobby Brown. From total nobody to Netflix's golden child. First off, let me hit you with this. Millie was born in Spain. Yeah, Spain. Not Hollywood, not New York, freaking Marbella, Spain, in 2004. Already, her life wasn't set up for the Hollywood dream. Her parents weren't producers, they weren't rich, they weren't connections people. Her dad was a real estate agent, her mom was just trying to keep the family afloat. Pretty normal, right? But then boom, everything starts to flip upside down. Pun intended. When Millie was just a little kid, her family moved to the UK, then Florida. And here's the kicker. They weren't living fancy. They weren't loaded. In fact, the Browns were hustling just to survive. At one point, her dad had to borrow money just so Millie could keep chasing acting auditions. Can you imagine? The parents of one of Netflix's future biggest stars couldn't even pay rent at times. Now, here's the insane part. Millie didn't even want to be an actress at first. Nope. She was just tagging along with her older siblings who were doing theater stuff. But then bam! Casting directors start noticing her. Like, this kid has it. You know that thing you can't explain, but you can see? Yeah, Millie had it dripping out of her eyeballs. Struggling before the big break. Let me just tell you, it wasn't instant fame. Millie had to grind. She had tiny roles in TV shows like Once Upon a Time in Wonderland and NCIS. And come on, nobody remembers her from those. Be honest, you didn't watch that and say, oh yeah, that kid's about to change pop culture. And get this, before Stranger Things, she was literally about to quit acting. Yeah, imagine if she had quit. 11. No nosebleeds, no egos, no demogorgons. Just a girl who gave up on Hollywood. But instead, Millie rolled the dice on one more audition, the role of 11. And what happens? Boom. Game over. She books it. Stranger Things, the world turns upside down. Guys, I don't think you understand how massive Stranger Things was. Like, when that first season dropped in 2016, it didn't just make Netflix popular, it defined Netflix. And who was front and center? Freaking Millie Bobby Brown. Let's be real. 11 wasn't just a role, it was an icon. The shaved head, the nosebleeds, the creepy powers, the waffles. You can't tell me you don't instantly picture Millie when someone says Stranger Things. She didn't just play 11. She was 11. But here's the crazy twist. Millie was only 12 years old when she became the face of a billion-dollar franchise. 12. When most kids are worrying about homework or acne, she was becoming an international superstar. And the money? Oh, it started flowing. By later seasons, Millie was making around $350,000 per episode. Per episode. Do the math. That's millions rolling in for just one season. Hollywood opens its doors. But Stranger Things was just the beginning. Hollywood took one look at Millie and went, yup, this kid's a star. Next thing you know, she's getting calls for Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong. And you know what? She owned those movies. Like, how are you standing next to giant CGI monsters and still stealing the scene? That's Millie Bobby Brown. And then came Enola Holmes on Netflix. Boom, she's not just acting anymore, she's producing. Yeah, let me repeat that. At just 16 years old, Millie was producing her own movies. Who does that? Nobody. That's not normal. That's freaking insane. Fame, fashion, and flow. Now let's talk about another wild part of her journey. While her career's exploding, Millie starts building her empire. I'm talking about her beauty brand, Florence by Mills. Like, what teenager do you know that just casually launches a multi-million-dollar skincare line? Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't some random side hustle either. The brand blew up because her fan base, Gen Z, the TikTok army, they ate it up. But of course, fame comes with its dark side. And for Millie, it came in the form of the internet. Trolls, stalkers, paparazzi, she dealt with all of it. At one point, she literally had to leave Twitter, now known as X, because of bullying. And let me just say, imagine being 14, having the whole world watch you grow up and people nitpicking your every move. That's brutal. Relationships and public scrutiny. Now, you know the famous doesn't shy away from the juicy stuff. So let's get into it. Her relationships. Millie's love life has been in the headlines ever since she was a teen. She's been linked to YouTuber Jacob Sartorius. Remember that era? She was rumored to have connections with Romeo Beckham and more. But the one that really made waves? Jake Bon Jovi. Yep, the son of rock legend John Bon Jovi. And guys, this wasn't just a fling. This was serious. We're talking engagement serious. In 2023, Millie dropped the bombshell. She and Jake were engaged. And the internet? Oh, it exploded. Half the people were like, she's too young. And the other half were like, damn, 11 really grew up. Either way, she shut the haters down. The pressure of growing up famous. But here's the part nobody really talks about. Millie's fame wasn't always fun. Growing up under the spotlight took a toll. In interviews, she's admitted how toxic the industry can be, how scary fame feels when you're still figuring out who you are. And honestly, that's what makes her rise even crazier. She's not just surviving Hollywood, she's thriving in it, breaking records and redefining Gen Z stardom. So where's Millie now? Oh, she's just one of the most famous young stars in the entire world. She's got Stranger Things still going, her beauty empire thriving, and blockbuster roles lined up. And let's not forget, she's not even 22 yet. Yeah, hear that again. Not even 22. She's been nominated for Emmys, named one of Time's most influential teens, walked every major red carpet, and basically cemented herself as Gen Z royalty. And think about it, Millie Bobby Brown didn't just become famous. She became a symbol of how one kid from nowhere can flip the whole entertainment world upside down. The legacy of Millie Bobby Brown. So what's the legacy here? Well, Millie Bobby Brown is living proof that age doesn't matter, background doesn't matter, and hell, even being broke doesn't matter. If you've got talent and grit, you can own the freaking world. From Marbella to Hollywood. From broke auditions to Netflix millions. From child star to beauty mogul. And she's still just getting started. So guys, next time you're binging Stranger Things or watching a giant Godzilla stomp through a city, just remember, that girl with the nosebleed superpowers, she's not just a character. She's Millie Bobby Brown, and her story, it's one of the craziest, most inspiring, most jaw-dropping Hollywood rises we've ever seen. And let me tell you this, you can bet she's not done yet. Because if there's one thing we've learned from Millie Bobby Brown, it's this. When the world tells you it's impossible, flip it upside down and prove them wrong. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, subscribe for more.